everybody, this is Cherie King. How y'all doing today? What I'm going to talk about today is how to combine your locks. Now let's say, for example, if you have thin locks, and you want to make them thicker. Let's say you have some locks that are kind of weak, and you want to combine them together, to make them stronger. Or let's say you just, want thicker locks, period. You just, maybe your locks aren't thin, but you just want to go a little bit bigger. So I just wanted to kind of demonstrate today what I did in order to combine my locks when I did a few years or however long it's been back. Okay, so let's say, for example, if I wanted to combine these two locks here. Okay, so depending on how thick you want to go, first of all, depending on the size your locks are currently, and how thick you want to go is going to determine how many locks you're going to combine together. Now, let's say, for example, if I wanted to go, just a little bit thicker, then I would just take 2 locks. But if I wanted to go like really thick, then anywhere between 3 to 4 or so, like maybe 2 and 2. And you can either, twist them together, or I have actually braided some together. But braiding them together, braiding mature locks together, not saying that they won't over time lose that braid appearance, but I would just rather twist them together, because it seems like they start to lose that appearance of being twisted much easier than it would if they were braided. Okay, so I will basically just twist them together. And I've done this different ways. Sometimes I would actually take and interlock at the root in order to hold it tight. Actually, most times I do that. So those of you that know how to do the interlock, with the latch hook or a crochet needle, or just using your fingers and the lock itself, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. But the main thing I wanted to address was the ends, okay, because sometimes that can give you a little bit of a problem. Now, depending, like I said, I don't know if you can see. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. Now, sometimes, like I said, a lot of my locks, even though they're 8 years old, they aren't totally solid on the ends. They're still loose like this. So if they are, I'll just kind of pull that apart. Hopefully you can see that, what I'm doing. Pull apart the loose curly end and just braid it. Braid it up. Now, in the event that they weren't loose like this, basically what I would do is find a way to secure the ends, to keep them together. So what I would do is, there's a lot of different things you can do actually, but you can take just one of these little rubber bands. But I would take the rubber band. You could take the rubber band and use that, and put that on the ends, but that might not be the most attractive thing in the world. So if you're concerned about that, another technique I've used is to take these cowrie shells. So what I do is I take one of these rubber bands and I just kind of fold it up, and then I insert it into the hole. Okay, so once you get the band through, then you're going to open up the loop at one end and put the other end of the rubber band through it. Okay, so it forms this sort of thing here. Okay, alright, and then I take the looped part of the rubber band and then put that on the lock, on the bottom of the lock, and then just I just wrap it around until it's on there tight enough, and that's it. Let me zoom out. Okay, alright, so that's typically what I do. Whether I'm trying to combine them and I want to keep them together at the ends, or whether I'm doing it for dormant purposes. So another thing I use are these. You can also get these at the beauty supply store. It's these little lock cuff thingies. So these little lock cuffs here. I'm going to zoom in again a little bit. Wrong way. Okay. These little lock cuffs have an area where you can actually open it. You probably can't see it, but I'm just going to show you. You can just put your thumbnail in there and just pull it right open. You see that? See? Am I too close? So it has an opening. You can open it up. You don't want to, I mean, if your locks are like super thick, these will not work for you, because you know, if you go too far, number one, they're flimsy, and number two, if you open it up too far, they will snap. You know, they'll snap right in half. So you know, if they're not, you know, too big, your locks, that is, then you can get away with using these, and then just, you know, close it back on. But this is another way to secure combined locks at the ends, you know, and if you want to, you can actually, like, if you don't want this loose like this, you can fold it upwards and then put your rubber band or your rubber banded cowrie shell or your lock cuff around this part here, and then that way, you know, once it solidifies it, you know, and everything, it'll actually have that nice rounded solid tip that people like so much. That's never really mattered to me. Or you can just do it like I have done it here. And if these things start to wear out, you know, I mean, they're really cheap to get for a little package of them. You can just always replace it. Now another thing I've done, and I don't have any here with me. Let me zoom back out. I don't have any here with me to demonstrate, but another thing I've done when trying to secure the ends of combined locks is to take needle and thread. Like, I used weaving thread in the past, you know, because it comes in like the black or the dark brown or whatever. And so I've used the, you know, weaving needle and weaving thread and just sewed it together, or you could probably just get away with using regular needle and thread. I think I've done that before too, just regular sewing thread, you know, in the color that matches your hair, and do it that way. And then, you know, over time the lock is going to, you know, solidify, and it's going to form, you know, and all that whole twisted appearance is going to go away. I mean, you can see mine, you know, the majority of my locks have been combined, and you don't see that twisted appearance. You know, you don't see that twisted appearance anymore. They look like, you know, they've always been this size. So anyway, that's how you combine your locks and secure the ends of them. And again, if you want to, you can interlock the roots so that it, you know, really stays together. But anyway, hopefully that little tip helps someone out there. And till next time, bye for now.